Welcome everybody to this is volume 7 of Unlocking the Power of AI. And again, we have another great one today talking about Midjourney and Nathan sharing all of his experience with the new interface of Midjourney, which I'm super excited about whenever they release that because I want to get my hands on it. I'm still in the using it over at what do you call it?
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah.
Discord where it's I'm not going to say it's discombobulated, but it is a really good way for you to understand prompting better, and then also all the parameters, how really fine tuned you can make your images do exactly what you want it to, or not exactly, so you can fail a little bit and understand more about how a degree or two or a number off can really change something. So still liking that. I understand that's where it started, but I'm really excited about the new interface that I've seen. Nathan, he's taught me a little bit about it, so I can't wait to get my hands on that. So, but welcome again on this Friday. Appreciate you guys' time. We can get to the next slide. Carlos Manriquez, and
Nathan Maxwell.
he's Nathan Maxwell. So yeah, you can get to the next slide. So again, before we start, we know that all these tools are new, and there's a lot more people as we've done a lot of surveying and a lot of data that we've encountered that people are getting their hands on ChatGPT, Midjourney, Gemini, things like that. So really cool that we have the ability to have all these tools. But again, it's one of those things where we are in some of us, are dabbling and trying to figure things out. So we just want to throw up a yellow flag of caution to say, make sure you check with, gut check yourself with somebody else, the brand and things like that before you hit send out there in the world that, these things can be really quick and fast and easy, which is good. But just want to just make sure you have somebody to back into to check your work.
I've been meaning to
And
do forward. Sorry about that.
that's
Yeah.
okay. And yeah, we'll get it over to Nathan about what's new in AI.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Carlos. Great intro. And I think, this week there's always like a lot of new things, but I think this was to me, I didn't hear quite as much about this. And I thought this was kind of a big announcement that, you know, has just kind of been leaked out there, and it's what Apple's doing. And a couple of weeks ago, we heard about Apple having some conversations with Google, about Gemini and like what's to come of that. And then we hear that they're working on this in the background already, and they're calling it Realm, um, reference resolution as language modeling. So, wow, what does that mean? And so I want to talk a little bit about that. But it's a new on device. So this device, instead of like having to possibly, what that means to me is that it can completely run. It's a light enough engine that it can run on your iPhone, on the power of like in your hand without having to go up to the cloud. So that what does that mean? That means way faster response time, possibly. And it can, what I thought was so cool is it can see what you're doing. Like if you think about how we use AI right at this moment, we open an app on our phone or we go to the website of ChatGPT and we have to input data into it. It tells us something, and then we have to take that information and go do something with it. Now picture like where this could be is you're actively, maybe you're in the process of typing an email on your phone, and you just enable Siri, and I'm going to say that word, and now my devices are going to go off. But you can start to talk to it, and it's going to have like the power of ChatGPT and understand what you're looking at on your screen. So it's going to be system aware. It's going to know what music is playing in the background on your phone. It's going to know maybe if you're on a phone call. I don't I what kind of access they give it. I'm sure there's frameworks, and that's probably the whole thing of trust and you know um personal user data and things like that. But I'm really excited. I think this is kind of breakthrough to hear this. The thing that was really cool is that they're saying like it can actually outperform a lot of tasks that GPT-4 is doing already. Now, what does that mean? It's not writing books for us, guys. It's not writing code. It's not the same thing. So you got to think about how it's going to be leveraged. But imagine this like super assistant, you know, instead of the dumb Siri that we have now that you can only do like one or two simple things, you could barely get weather updates from it, to something that really can understand everything that you're doing and be this like major assistant, possibly even maybe do tasks and other things like that. So I don't know. I'm really excited about this one. So this was the new thing that I wanted to kind of. There's an article on ZDNet. There's a few other articles out there, but I really have felt like this has been like this news that hasn't been quite as big that I wanted to bring up and talk about. So any kind of questions you guys have, comment on it or put it in the chat. I'd love to talk more about it, but this was kind of cool. All right. Lots to go through today. I'm going to try to move at a pretty good pace. This will be recorded. Carlos, make sure you're verifying that it is, because I don't want anybody to miss anything today, because I'm going to move pretty quick. I've tried to like set up a lot of this so that you can kind of go back and look at it. And I can move through like a lot of information all at once. There's been, I've seen a lot of different people talk about like ways to use styles and character reference. So I'm going to I feel like kind of simplify it down a little bit, break down each one, what are the differences, and then go into some demos and then have the chance to kind of talk about it. Um, the main thing I wanted to talk about is like the key differences of between style reference and character reference and kind of what those are. Let's break down style reference first, because that's the one I'm going to demo first. And style reference is it's going to reference an image that you feed it, and it's going to copy the artistic style. It's going to understand colors, the visual feel, kind of the feel and tone. Like if it's a scary looking image, if it's staticky, if it's antique, if it's black and white, if it's an oil painting, if it's a realistic photo, if it's a hand drawing, a pencil sketch, vector, it's looking at that part. It doesn't care what is in the image, like the characters or the objects. It's ignoring that. And it's looking at the aesthetics of how the image was created, kind of like an art piece, the difference between a pencil sketch and a painting. So a color painting or something like that. And it's going to take that and incorporate it into the prompt that you have provided. So really, really neat. I'm going to showcase that. And that's what style reference is. So very, very powerful. And then character reference is ignoring the other part, which is the style of the image, and really looking at the character, like who the person is, the subject in the image. And it really gives you the ability to kind of take a character and put them in other scenes and other things. This was something that you could do if you're familiar and a little bit more advanced user. Have used Midjourney for a long time. If you've heard of seeding, seeding is still used, but it's very complex of how you get to what the seed is and how you leverage that seed. Character reference is this new upgraded way to really a powerful way to kind of leverage this. So I'm very, very excited about what it can do. It understands everything from facial features to hairstyles to the clothing the character's wearing. And you can choose based on the weight you put into it, whether or not you're just pulling, I just want to carry over the features of how this person looks, but I want to put them in a different outfit or a completely different scene. Or I want to bring them into a different scene, but I want to bring over the same outfit. I want them to wear the same flannel shirt they had, and put them in a completely different scene. It has the power to kind of do that kind of stuff. So that's what I would be showing today. Let's jump into style reference first. And style reference, I've got a little note of it up at the top. When it's typed, it's dash dash SREF, style reference. And that's how you'll leverage it in Discord when you're doing it. And I'll show that in the command. And the first one I'm going to do, this is kind of the example of how I'm going to showcase this live for you guys. and I'm going to I'm going to prompt this. We'll see what we get back of a cute kitten sleeping on a keyboard. And then I'm going to use some different styles to make this kitten in very different artistic styles. And you can see some of the examples over here on the right, and I'm going to show this live. So let's jump into that. And I believe I've got these over here. Yep. So the first one I'm starting with is this one. Okay, so let me grab that prompt and I'm going to type it up here. So I am in Midjourney Alpha. This is what I'll continue to demo in. It is still limited to users who have generated 1,000 images or more currently. So if you have not generated 1,000 images or more in Midjourney, you are still going to be stuck with using Discord. If there's any help that someone needs with Discord, you can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn or email me. However you can get a message to me, and I'll walk you through how to do that. I'll talk about that a little bit here of the technicality differences. I'm going to continue to show Midjourney Alpha because this is where it's going. And I will say, after using Discord for a very long time and thinking I would never get away from it, now that they've really enhanced like all the different features and brought them over, it's finally a very pleasant experience that doesn't feel so clunky like Discord. So it took me a while, but I forced myself to get used to it, and I really am loving it. So I'm excited that this is about to be released to everybody. So I've got this cute kitten sleeping on a keyboard, the same prompt that I gave before, and just to show that one more time, I will I will run a version of that real quick, just so everybody can see that. While I'm starting this one. And the one thing I need to go ahead and remember is I need to move myself to fast mode. Okay. Hopefully I won't get downgraded while we're in the middle of this. All right. So I've got this. I've got this right here. And you can see that the original without any kind of style references running here. I wanted to showcase that. And now I'm going to start this other one. And then here, this is the reference image I'm giving it. So really different, like completely not in the realms of a kitty cat. It's cute. It's on a keyboard, anything like that. So I wanted to show like how it is just looking at the aesthetics of this image. It's looking at the style. It's looking at the scratchy, the color tones. That's the part that's I wanted to find something to really help everybody understand like how abstract of a difference that you can feed it. And so that way, when you're looking at another image, you're like, oh man, I love that style. I want to carry that style over. And you can create your own style and then go, this is the style that I like. I'm always going to put this style in all my prompts. And so I have this kind of tone of all the images I create in Midjourney, and they always look the same. So something like that. It could be the way you use that. And it could be not so major. I'm showing some very different ones. So here's the cute kitten. I'm going to run this again. Now I have this image, and you can see this little icon, the paperclip. That is inserting the style reference code automatically for me. I'll hover over that so you can see it, style ref. And if you were to type this in Discord, you would type it like this, dash dash sref, and then you would, right afterwards, you'd put the URL. You'd put the URL here. That's how you would do that in Discord. So it's a lot more complex than just dragging and dropping the image. I drug the image into this from my computer. I just drug it over into the screen. You can also drag images from here up into this box. So there's a couple different ways you can paste them in there. I can include the URL and do it this way, the same way I did it in Discord. But this is definitely attaching it is much easier. You can also click the little plus sign and attach the image that way. So I just want to show that for everybody that there's different ways of doing it. But in Discord, this old school way, that's how you do it. But today we're going to take advantage of the ease of Midjourney Alpha. All right, let's run it. And I'm going to grab this one more time because I'm going to use this for a couple other prompts. not this one. So while that's running, let's go crank up another one so we can get a few running at the same time and keep this moving pretty quickly. So here's another one. I'm going to add the same prompt again. And let's look at this one. This one's kind of a UFO. These are some cool little stamp things I was making the other day. And I just thought they were great examples. This is a kind of a holographic, really colorful, very vibrant. So with a black background, I thought this was a good one to give some good contrast. So I wanted to do that. So style reference. I'm gonna grab that one and drop it in here. So we'll start that one up. And you can already see this first cat where we referenced the first UFO shot, this one, it's already starting to load here. And you can really start to see how it pulls in. Yeah, this one's a great example. It has, the scratchiness, that black and white texture, but it still pulls in the original prompt of like, on a keyboard. It made the keyboard look more kind of antique looking, which is kind of cool. So anyway, real neat example, I thought. That handled it well. Um, I'd like to play around with one more thing while we're at it and we're going through this. And I'd like to show everyone there are, so I just dropped this in natively and I didn't give it any kind of strength. So you have the ability to, and you could do this in Discord or here in Alpha, to give this style, which again, you hover over at style reference, and you do style weight, SW, and you can do 0 through 100. And so in this example, it basically gave it a style weight. I think the default, I think, is 100. So I'm going to drop it down to 10, give it a style weight of 10, or let's do 25, and I'll run it again. So I want to let you guys see the differences of like a really low style weight and a really high. So maybe you just want some of the aesthetics, but you don't want a lot of it. You have this kind of slider to kind of tweak it a little bit. So here's the next one where I had the UFO kind of decal with the holographic look. But again, you can see there's no UFO, there's no flying saucer. It doesn't look like a stamp. It just has that really vibrant color um, coming out. We still got the cute little kitten, a cute kitten sleeping on a keyboard. I don't know if it really pulled off the MacBook Pro, but at the end of the day, it really captured that aesthetic really well. And I'm gonna go ahead and start up one more. This last one was another very abstract. I have no idea what prompt I used to create that, but I thought it was a cool one, so I grabbed it. I thought it'd be a good example. Okay, here's the one where I gave it the style weight of 25. And you can see where it really just barely put that aesthetic in there. Kind of just got the black and white, but it didn't pull in all the grungy made it didn't make the picture look so old. It's not all scratchy. So you can see the difference of when you lower that weight. And I could bring that weight all the way down to 0 or 5 or 10, or I can go all the way up to 100. So by default, I think it's doing the maximum, which is 100. And that's why we had the images down here that were much closer to the original style weight. So if there's any questions, Carlos, I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, what's your first initial feedback, looking at this from just a marketing point of view, like how it could be leveraged,
Yeah.
for what's your thoughts?
Yeah. And actually, this kind of, I think Deborah said, would you say that the ability to assign a consistent style for a particular style would be important for branding projects, especially? And I went on chat to kind of answer that. But yeah, I think that in using this, you can see the power of like setting a style and being consistent throughout your style and, following like brand guidelines and what you choose whenever you do your brand strategy. If some of your voice and tone and messaging have like a certain kind of feeling and evoke emotions and things like that, this would be really good to put that into the prompt, to say we want a funny cat, a curious cat, and be consistent with your language in prompting. And we talked about this about going over to Chat GPT, and not to go too far off the beaten path here, but to actually go under the hood and put your brand tone and identity in GBT to help you, craft messaging and things like that. But this is where I'm at to say my client needs such and such. So let's have that tone to be very consistent in style, so to not go all over the place. So yeah, this is very powerful.
Yeah, I'll go a step further. I had a client previously before this feature was released, and I had to do a lot of image. So that's a great question that you had. And they had a brand look and feel that they needed that was very specific. And it was typically more realistic imagery or stock photography kind of stuff. And we didn't have to have a lot of product stuff, but had some aesthetics, almost like a maybe an 80s style image, and maybe some color tones that were needed. And I had to put a lot of that into the text prompting, and it did okay. I would always have to I was feeding it into Midjourney within the text prompt, trying to add the style. But this is much more control. It's giving you a lot more power to really control the style overlay. It's almost like concentrate on the text talking about the subject, which is the cute kitten on the laptop, and then let this kind of define the style of how the image is going to be, whether it's black and white or this kind of like soft touch black and
Yeah.
white here. And it's kind of like once you kind of tweak it and you go, hey, this is great. I've used this a couple times. This is exactly what we want our brand, and this matches the tone of like you could even pull like existing imagery that they already have, and like this is our brand, this is who we are, and this is how we like our images to look. And I could take those and put those in there. It does allow you. I wasn't gonna. I probably don't have the time to kind of show this today, but it does allow you to do multi styles and kind of merge. And I could put more than one image in here. Um, I guess I could do. Let me reprompt this. And then let me jump out of this one and go into this one. And this is how you can add an image. So, like I said, I love the alpha version. This is so fast. So here I'm adding the paperclip style reference, basically, of the other kitten. Um, I believe there's a way I can set the tone of like how much strength each of these have. I haven't gotten into that advanced level yet. I think it can control that. I know in Discord, you can do the order in which they arrive. So I can say like the first image, style weight, second image, style weight. So you can do kind of multiple controls there. But if you think about it from a reference, if you have like, let's say a brand and they say supply you with some images and say, hey, here's some examples. This is how we like to look. Or maybe they reference something online like, hey, we're building a new brand, but this is our inspiration and this is who we want. You could pull those images in and plug them in here and then do the prompting and see if you can kind of get to that point where you're, meeting the needs of that brand. But I'll play with this one at least to test it. I always like to good feedback, Carlos. I'll run one of that before I move on to the next section and just let this run real quick.
Let me add one more thing to like while you're doing, think about when you do these images, and Nathan last week, and if you didn't watch last week, go back and watch how you can zoom out, push these things to the left or to the right for your copy,
Mhm.
and kind of work in tandem with copy with imagery to see like how like if you go to Chat GPT and get the message that you want to not put the copy on top of it, but use it to kind of spearhead, the emotion that you're trying to get from your images, whether it's a blog or an ad copy or things like that. I mean, they have to work kind of hand in hand, which that's what we do a lot is, go with the word first and then use the word and the feelings and the emotion of that to kind of put that into these prompts for Midjourney.
Yeah, so you're talking about, are you talking about how we could use it for some ads and like, continue to manipulate the image to use it for different use cases?
Yeah. Yeah, like for ads to say the cat's just too much in the middle. I want to put something, if somebody has Photoshop and they want to go or Canva, whatever, to put words on the left side of it, you can, zoom out, push it to the left,
Yep.
and then get that high res image, and it's unique and it's your own, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely could. I could take like this, if this is the shot I like for whatever reason, I could push out, I could pan to the right, or I could pan down, and go below this image. And then I can manipulate using Jerry region. And so these are maybe that's maybe if you want to take some notes, Carlos, I could probably spend an entire episode kind of showcasing some use cases like that, and how that would work. So put some
Right.
feedback in the chat, guys, if there's anything like that. So I'm gonna take a stab at this. Style weight 75. And oops, I almost missed it. Style weight 25. So again, I'm gonna see if this will work in the order of how these are. I'm assuming maybe this would be one, this is two. I haven't done this before, so let's do this on the fly. I'm giving the first one a weight of 75, which is higher, and then the second one a weight of 25. So I'm actually using the cat image, which is funny, but it's really the aesthetics of that color. And let's see if I can kind of, a little more weight of this style, and a little less of this, and kind of combine the two together. And let's all cross our fingers and hope I don't run out of fast hours today. So if I refer to fast hours, you're like, what is Nathan talking about? When you subscribe to Midjourney, you kind of choose which level you're going to do. And I get like 15 hours a month, and I'm right there. I've got like a couple more days before I flip over to the new month, and I'm definitely out of hours. I ran way too many images, way too fast for too long. Okay, so it really did it. It's kind of cute how it did the black and white of the cat and the keyboard. Um, and it's got that. So anyway, I don't want to play with that too much, but it definitely can do it. And it's really showcasing like how it can do it. So really neat. All right. So next up, that's style reference. All right, come on, Google. Carlos, you might have to. My computer is trying to load our our slides, and I might need if you can pull it up. I'll continue like talking. I've got enough to chat about the next what's next up, which is character reference. But what I wanted to show is character reference next, and I'm going to show like a couple examples of how character reference works. Just like I said before, character reference is when you're, trying to match a specific character from an image and include it into some other facial features. So I've got a prompt I used. I did not save it. So let me go grab it, and I'll start with this one. So I'm going to start with a prompt that's very, and I'll come back. If you'll just load up the presentation, and I'll just kind of like walk through it towards the end, Carlos, but I'll just jump right into where I was at. So I'll just keep going with the demo. Um, the main thing I wanted to show is I'm gonna run a photo taken at the Masters golf course. A woman with bangs and green eyes. She's wearing a white and dark green color block polo shirt, holding a golf club, looking at the camera. So a lot of details. I decided to use Masters golf course because I live in Augusta, and that's quickly coming around the corner for those who are golf fans. So I thought it was applicable. Um, and so I wanted to kind of show like how I may create the first image I want to use. And it might be a person or style, and it could be from, whatever prompt you want to use. You could be a lot more specific. And then from one of these images or something, I may say, it's kind of like you're selecting the model that you want to use. And so in this case, and I could be using a guy, a girl, and it's understanding, eye color, um, facial features, skin tones, all those different things. And it's also even understanding like, this polo shirt that she's wearing. So this is a great example here. I may actually use this one for in a couple examples, but I pulled one already here, which is this girl I prompted earlier because it was a real good close up. Looks very lifelike. You can also utilize a photo that you is a real photo. Midjourney actually says that it is better when it's doing character reference with an image that it's created. Um, and I'm sure there's some reasons why, but anyway, I haven't tested that a whole lot, but I believe that part of it. And so usually I'll just use a character that I'm referencing that Midjourney already made in the first place. Again, it's only going to always do the likeness. So even if you upload a photo that's a real photo, um, it's still going to be the likeness of that person. Same way, if you use an image reference that Midjourney created, it's going to be really close. But if you were really that person, you'd be like, it's not me, but it's close. It's close enough to where, from an ad standpoint, and all these examples I'm going to show today, it's going to be really good. So, um, in this one, a woman hiking on a trail. So what I want to do is I wanted to showcase her in other scenes, completely different. She's on a golf course. She's wearing a polo shirt. And now I want to put her on a snow-capped mountain in the background. She's wearing hiking gear and uh, character weight 0. Yep. So character weight zero is what it's going to do is it's just going to concentrate on the face and some of the hairstyle feature. But if I gave it character weight 100, it would look at what she's wearing. And I don't want to stick her on the side of a mountain as a hiker wearing this polo. So I just want her in another outfit, in another wardrobe. Let's say I do have, and I was playing around with that before. I had an image of someone, and they had, like I said, like a plaid long sleeve shirt on, and I wanted to match that shirt in a whole bunch of scenes, and I wanted that character in a whole bunch of scenes. So in that case, I used a style weight of 100. So here she is again, and again, this is her. and and now this is her kind of hiking on a mountain. Not really the best shot of her. I'm gonna rerun this one again. Let me see if there was anything else I had in that prompt that might be throwing this off. Let's drop the chaos down. I got a little carried away in that. Style rock 50. Let's drop this to 150. Okay, let's run that one more time. All right, and I want to run a couple other prompts that I've got ready. So here's another one, same girl, this girl here, and I want to do a close-up of her, a woman fishing with her son, um, on a peaceful lake at sunrise. All right, character weight 0 again. And then I'm going to do another one, a woman working on her laptop, large window behind her, New York City streets. I think I used a prompt like this similar the other day. And then that's the other one. Okay, so let's see how these are going. So here's another one of her hiking. That's a little better. It doesn't like this reference image too well. It might be that it's too close up. I'm not really sure. I've definitely had better success. It's not too bad. I've had better success with other. Sometimes if it starts to be a little weird and it's not matching up really well, I'll pick a different character reference. And maybe a good way to do this would be, let's pull this one up again. And if you guys remember, I did this one here. So let's go grab her. I'm going to drop her in, and we've fired this model, and we've just now hired another model. So I'm going to do hiking on the trail because that other lady was not working for me. So again, all I got to do is just click this little icon, character reference. I should type this out, dash dash character reference. That's all you got to do. And that means that it's going to match the character reference. In Discord, I'd do character reference and then the URL. Now, when I I have the character reference weight over here. So to be in proper order, it needs to be like this, especially when you're in Discord. Character reference command, the URL, and then the character weight, just to give everybody some context. All right, let's go see what that does. Let's see how we're doing here. We got her working on the computer. Okay. She's fishing. This isn't bad. Fishing with her son. Look at that. There she is again. And then this is her working on the computer. When her head's turned, it really works. And then here's another one. So this is where I changed the character to this girl here and put her hiking on the mountain. And yeah, I think it did pretty good there. And then there she is again. Oh, I think I'm clicking too fast. Anyway, you can kind of see she's looking off to the side. So sometimes you'll get it where, depending on how you're staging it, she might be looking off to the side or something like that. Let me see if I had any others that I was prompting here. Okay. Um, Let me run this one again. And let's do the same thing. Let's go grab a different person. Let's grab this girl here and use her. So I'm going to click on her. This is a great feature, and you just hit this image and it inserts the image right here. I know I've been moving really fast, so you guys can slow that down in the recorded mode. So I'm going to hit character reference. So I'm just swapping out. So she's at the coffee shop, and I'm going to use this image here instead. There was one more I wanted to rerun, which I think was this one. So if you want to get something funny out of this and really see what this weight does, remember I said 0 is really just her face. Let's go all the way to 100. So you see what she's wearing. She's about to show up on a snow-capped mountain with wearing her polo. If you put that 100. So Carlos, again, this is kind of that next phase. We did the style before, which really helps.
Yeah.
And now we're doing this character, and um, you can already see this coming into play using this girl here, this woman here, and you can see the aesthetics of pulling her into these other photos, which is working really well. Any kind of thoughts or feedback on that?
Yeah, I think that I just want to make sure that we understand that the usage of things is it's all over the place, right? I mean, it could be a header for your website. People are usually in that, and there's a lot of stock photography of people like huddling around computer screens or they're whiteboarding and things like that. So right now, what Nathan is doing is very detailed and very pointed towards a certain figure and things like that. There's a lot that I see like, oh, that could be a Patagonia, ad. And it's on a screen, really small, really tiny, but it could be really big, and you can really start to dial things in. Like it looks realistic to me, with a designer eye like that, that could be a mountain bike ad or something like that because the focus isn't on the person, it's on the ad or the space of the words or maybe the product or something like that. So these are really good foundational images that you can start with to even use it as like, hey, I want something like this. So if you want to take it to the art department and say we need a photography session or something like that based on this kind of look and feel. So you can take it on to get it to a photographer, or if it's good enough and it's like, hey, this is where we are with budget, time, and things like that, let's use it. So it totally does a lot there for you, whether how you're going to use it.
Yeah. So it's funny, the prompt says she is wearing hiking gear. So it's throwing this hiking gear or a backpack over this polo shirt, which is really funny. Um, and so it's really interesting to see like this where it's using what I, referenced before, which is like this seed image of this character and kind of brings them in. Now, yeah, it didn't match this polo like 100%, and I think there's going to be, as Midjourney evolves, this is really a something that's just recently rolled out. It is very new to them, so they are still. There are already other tweaks and stuff that they're doing, and they're constantly making this better and better. So it's pretty neat. If you noticed while I was in here, I did a pan off to the right, so maybe I wanted to center her. I could also zoom out and I could do a lot of different things like that. So a lot of opportunities. And then again, once I upscale this, it'll start to like there's sometimes like, when I'm looking at it, you guys might not be able to tell on your screen, but I can see like, it's pretty detailed, but it's not in full focus. I could see some issues where I might not want to use this, but I don't want to jump. It's pretty good. And if I want to upscale it now, once it does the upscale, it really brings in the details. And sometimes it'll fix a lot of like small cosmetic things that are a little off. So usually you'll see a lot of that happen when you do the upscale because Midjourney really takes a lot more time to run the image when it does the full upscale version. And that's why the upscale takes so long.
Yeah, and Nathan, we had a question about just that, so perfect timing. Real quickly, like you're talking about upscaling for digital. Just I said on the chat, but like I think that you've had experience that went to print. Print and digital are two different things. So hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, I've actually got prints around my office that I've run. And a lot of times, like Midjourney, the upscale version that they have here, I don't have it written down. I think I went over that one of the previous weeks, like how large of an image it does. It does really big, but it is not to the level where you're going to want to print to, let's say, maybe, something beyond 11 by 14 or something like that. Um, I generally will take it into another program. There's actually apps that will run on your phone that can do some amazing upscale capabilities. And so if that's something that you're interested in, I can go into more details later, definitely put it in the notes. But there are apps that will do now, again, it's not perfect. It's not doing the level of like what upscale is happening here. It's really just going to like add a lot more pixels, but it makes it where it's doing a lot more behind the scenes to where it's not going to make it where it's blurry. But I've printed stuff that is, I mean, 36 to 40 inches wide on canvas and stuff like that of some artistic stuff and different things that I've made leveraging Midjourney before. And I can get right up to it and it looks beautiful. Would I do this as like a full photographic print on my wall? Probably not, but you can definitely kind of have some post production stuff. Are you gonna take this and like put it up on a billboard? Probably not. But again, something to play with. I'd love to, hear some use cases like that. So here's where it added, great questions though. Thanks for the feedback. Here's where it added the other part of the picture where it was kind of left just, all this over here on the left. Now we've got more on the right, and I can pan it again if I wanted to. So you can really a lot of flexibility here to what you can do. All right. I don't know if I'm going to try to refresh. I think I completely lost my Google my Google thing there. So I wanted to do kind of a bonus piece here, guys. And then Carlos, if you queue it up so you can walk through and I'll see if there's anything else I missed we'll kind of catch up on the slideshow and I'll stay in demo mode. But I wanted to utilize this lady, um, and this lady here and this really artistic style, really weird, kind of spooky um, looking image here. And I'm going to take the two and I'm going to do the style reference of this lady kind of coming out of the TV screen, style reference of that image, and then the character reference of this lady, another one of the shots of this girl like on a golf course. And so a woman hiking on a trail, she is looking to the left, shocked expression on her face with snow-capped mountain in the background. Let's do uh, rus rustic cabin in the background. She is wearing hiking gear. 60 by 9, style raw. Style weight is 100. Yep. And character weight is 0. So again, that's what I want. I know it's kind of backwards because I don't want full strength on the character. I don't want her wearing a polo. I want her in hiking gear. And then stylized 133. Again, I don't go into this a lot, but stylized, if I put it at 1000, it's really going to put a whole lot of detail into like taking into consideration like what this prompt is saying, a lot of detail in the imagery. It's something I could play around a little bit, but typically I find like a little bit lower stylized will pay attention to like what I'm saying in the prompt and really put a lot of detail into that and focus on what I said in the prompt. And so I've more recently I put a little more focus on a lower stylized where previously I used to do a lot higher, like all closer to like 900 to 1000. But I found I have a little bit more feel of control when I go lower. So everyone has different ways of doing it. I know 133 is a really weird number. I mean, obviously I could probably do 150 and 133 and not be a big difference, but I always use these like weird odd numbers like chaos of 7 and things like that. So that's just my preferences. Just kind of explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, so this again, this is pulling in, and this is the power of like when Carlos was talking earlier about leveraging this in marketing. Now I'm pulling in a character um, into a scene, and I am setting the style of the scene and to create whatever it's going to create. And this is the last piece. So if there's any other questions that you wanted to put in the chat, this was kind of my bonus. I wanted to show like being able to bring these two together and use them at the same time and kind of see what we get. Um, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what happens here.
That's fantastic.
Just to reference these two. Yeah, I don't even think Carlos saw the bonus, so he wasn't sure what I was going to show. But just again, these are the reference images. I don't even remember the prompts I was using to make these, like especially this one. I think it was kind of an accident. I ran into it, but really neat. There's some kind of watermark on that that's kind of odd, but I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
Kind of just this surprise look. Definitely, you kind of have the backpack. And so Carlos has seen where I've taken some images like this, and I'll rerun this again. And I like this. Yeah, let's just rerun it again. I'm gonna do one more, and I'm gonna add more chaos. I'm gonna bump it to 27, which is actually decently high. And I'm gonna use the weird command, and I'm gonna do 77. No telling what we'll get then. All right. Um, But really neat what you could do is I can then take, you start to use this as a character reference now, like she's wearing, focusing in on what she's wearing, like this flannel shirt and that pattern and that look. It won't be perfect, but being able to bring her into other scenes and really kind of like, Carla showed some storyboarding previously, more of like sketch work. Now, with GPT, this is kind of a way you could start to kind of do storyboarding from a Midjourney side and use it for other use cases and stuff. And so I'm excited about kind of taking this to another level and like what I can do. So here's where I ran it again. Whoops. And I kind of have a shocked expression on her face. So yeah, it looks like, someone's like startling her from behind. Um, but really neat. I love the aesthetics of the image that it pulled from that other photo. And it's a unique style that would be hard to describe if you think about that. Trying to get from text to this, and this is the real power of using imagery to really define what you're getting out of Midjourney. And the next version, it's going to be a couple weeks out. I'm going to be taking this to the next level and really showing how to take an image and create another image and kind of like image prompting. and which is the next piece that I wanted to use. So if you can see when I drop an image in, that's this one here. What does that mean? Using an image as a prompt. And how that works. So more to come. If there's not any other questions, Carlos, I will pass it over to you.
Yeah.
What
No,
happens
this
when you add a little when you add a little weird to it? She gets.
yeah.
But if you want to go ahead and take over the screen share, you can.
Yep. I'm on board. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Let me share real
Yeah.
quick. As we close, everybody can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Good, good, good.
You
Okay.
want to go
I know
slide?
it's kind of,
You want to go to
yeah,
slide
it's like,
seven? Yep.
yeah, yeah. So let's see. So don't forget, to fill out the survey and things like that. We do have a YouTube that started. It's under kaleidoscope.ai. It's something that we're trying to brand and bring so a lot of context around why we branded it that way. So look for that to come in, soon. But um, next week we have guest speaker Abby Varma. Um, Close friend of yours, Nathan, or
Yeah,
yeah.
acquaintance that I met, and he's doing some awesome stuff with AI. So more to come. We'll have a
Yeah,
sneak peek, maybe posted on in LinkedIn, and showcase some of the stuff that he's going to be showing, which is really excited about.
yeah. And then on the 19th, Nathan's gonna continue on the Midjourney, which is really, really cool. I love that we're recording this. And Deborah, like you said, it's probably fast now, but you can go back, and a lot of people are going back to watch it. So very cool that we're able to screen record and tighten that up for that, and get all the fluff out, but go straight and dive into where you need to go. Next week, what I've wanted to do was just show a little bit more Pi integration with GPT, and it's just probably going to be more of a hands-on because I use it all the time on walks to get kind of my thoughts down and out, and then I can come back to GPT and Pi to kind of recap that, put it in GPT, so I could do an outline or anything that I'm thinking about like business opportunities and things like that. So just trying to figure out more ways that we can use AI daily. I use it all the time now, but daily to be able to be a step ahead of the curve because things are coming, things are moving. You want to be, in your niches, to talk about these things at the water cooler or whatever. But a great opportunity to talk about like how we can push these tools around to help us on the daily. So that's pretty cool. And I do want to mention something, Nathan. Whenever you wrapped up the last thing you did, the surprise thing,
Yeah.
um, there's a lot of jobs that are out there for use of Midjourney and AI and using these things. I mean, it might be, small things like $300 there, $500 there, but there's a lot of people out there wanting
Yeah.
imagery. Nathan, I know that you've talked to several people on Upwork and things like that, but this is really good to be able to showcase, some of what Nathan has shown you to go out there and start putting some bids on a hey, here's two, three, 10 images that I can, put together, and just talk to the client, the customer, and ask them what they really want. And we're online too, so hit us up if you run into a snag or anything like that. So we'll gladly love to help you and things like that to get you just some income there that you thought that you never, you're dabbling around, but this is some powerful things and people want it out there.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love it. If you want to show before we close, show slide 10 real quick, just so people can see kind of like since we missed those
Oh,
things earlier. Yeah, that's one before that.
yeah, this one.
Yeah, I thought this was good. This is just kind of the prequel as I was going into character reference, just showing how I used the image on the left and was able to get the output of that lady in different scenes. And
Yeah.
that's kind of an example where I'm not rushed in a live demo. So it's not always perfect when I'm doing it live, but I like the pressure of like just seeing what Midjourney. But when I have the time to kind of reprompt a few more times, and I can't do that in an hour, but this is the kind of output,
Yeah.
the level of like really taking a character and putting him in different places. So anyway, I just wanted to showcase that. And then I think the next slide was just what I did from the bonus. So that was all I had. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, take care, and I'll see you guys next week.